Hey, what's up guys? This is Mikkel from meatheadgaming.com, and today I want to show you guys a Frost wizard build that basically destroys everything in Torment 1. So let's hop right in and I'll go through all of it. Now in the video description I'm going to post a link to the stream that I was doing earlier where I was actually testing everything. I was crafting a bunch of items and testing different Torment difficulties. I basically can do 1 through 5, but unfortunately my hardware kind of sucks and I need to get a new processor and video card, and I might just build a new system altogether because it's lagging pretty bad on my stream. So anyway, first things first, let's go through my gear. Now when I was on live without any points, I was at 400k DPS, and if you guys remember my other YouTube video where I was talking about crafting in 2.0, I upgraded a couple items. Well, I went ahead and basically used up the rest of my common debris to craft even more items. So, my without Paragon levels, I'm at 380. Now let's put all the points in here. So for here, I'm going on T1. You don't really need life on hit very much once you get past a certain amount of toughness. So I just do resource cost reduction and life on hit for the rest. Defense, resist all is going to give you the most toughness, and then for me, the life percentage was more valuable than armor. Offense, I go crit chance and crit damage. And then core, I do 1 movement speed to get to 25, and then the rest straight into him. So now buffed, I'm at 453,000 damage, which is about what I was before the gear. When I brought all my 60 gear over from live, where I'm currently around 403k, I was about 454. So, but my toughness was about 500. Now it's over 1 million. And this is something that I just crafted and played around with in my stream because I needed it to handle the higher Torment difficulties. So let's go through my gear real quick. So 453k damage, 1 million toughness, 58 crit chance, crit damage, 900 resist. This is overkill for T1, but this is kind of like the leftovers I had from the other stream. So the biggest thing was the life. I mean, 82,000 hit points is pretty insane. I started with about 40. So that's a big difference. So gear-wise, this is still from live. Then this is from live. Live. This is a pretty high-end Triumvirate. It's not very cheap. These Zunis are on the higher end too. They're not incredibly great, but they do go for 50 mil plus. I've seen them. This is my axe. Pretty decent. Ina's, Wishing Hour, and more Zunis. Now, what I did craft was the shoulders, and I got basically an extra 200 vitality on top of everything else, and I still had the all resistant armor. So this took about, I think this took about 30 or 40 crafts to get this. The gloves, I was going for crit chance and crit damage. I couldn't do it. These are going to be the hardest to craft in 2.0, but I could settle for the 300 vitality in the end because this makes Torment 1 completely trivial, and bracers are the easiest to craft. So 300 vitality, or 300 int, 200 vitality, all resist, and crit damage, or crit chance, excuse me. So all said and done, let's look at the build. So the idea here is to basically one-shot white mobs and to kill elites in about 5 seconds or so. And to that end, you want to cast and forget. So you want to be basically run, hit a button, run somewhere else, hit a button, run somewhere else. So we're going to be using the following skills. Rare Frost, Sleet Storm for your main attack. This is what you're going to be combining with Blizzard to take down the elites. Blizzard, I'm going to use Snowbound for the reduced arcane power cost, because your AP regen with a Templar, mine is at 13.4, which isn't that great, but it allows me to spam Blizzard pretty much across the entire screen non-stop. Now, I don't even need to do this much, but I can. Usually it's more like run, cast, run, cast, run, cast. And for elites, you just basically cast them on top of yourself and pop Sleep Storm and just stand there until they die. So, and then Crystal Shell just for kicks, just so you don't have to kite anything. I mean, the damage output on Torment 1 is fairly low, so Crystal Shell will last through most things. I'm using Sparkflint for the familiar for the extra damage, Pinpoint Barrier for the 5% crit, Force Weapon because it gives you the most increased damage. You can use Glass Cannon just fine, Blur for the damage reduction because you are going to be in melee range. You could actually take that out and go for Cold Blood, but I still prefer Blur just in case. And then I'm using Astral Presence for a little bit more AP regen. So, let's see how quickly this works. And in Torment 1, you're getting 342 XP, and actually that's without the gem up here, so really it's just my Hellfire, and then I have a Hellfire ring on my Templar, so it's 300% bonus XP. And there's really no reason to have the life gem in here. This is just left over from when I was doing T5, so you can go ahead and put the ruby gem in there for even more XP. But let's, what am I doing here? I'm not doing the right thing. So let's pop over and do Keep Depths 2, and then I'll show you guys that, and Asmodan, and then I'll do Escatu and Rakanoth, and you'll see how quickly everything dies in Torment 1 without any kind of need for healing or anything like that. Oh, in terms of that, 250 basically life on hit, so not very much. I do have Lifesteal, which is still effective at 60, and then a little bit of life per second. But if I just stand here, then you can see that I'm not taking a whole lot of damage at all. This is just standing here. I mean, life regen doesn't negate it, but it comes close. I can stand here for about a minute, probably, before I died. And this is Torment 1. So, pretty easy. Also, damage-wise, hit it once, and single casting Blizzard will kill all the mobs, so you can kind of see how quickly that goes. Now, it does deal damage a little bit slower because over 6 seconds. Ray of Frost will deal 375% weapon damage per second. And that's, of course, modified by your attack speed. So here's an elite. Let's just pop in real quick. Alright, so the elite's gone. Nothing to it. And then Sleep Storm these guys. So I kind of want to show you guys the Sleep Storm damage. So they come out here, if they can. Basically just tap it once and pretty much insta-kills them. I just tap my mouse button, let it go, and it insta-kills. So that's honestly, that's a one-shot if I ever saw them. So really, even at this damage, breakpoint, I could probably do T2 and T3 pretty fast. T3 starts to slow down a little bit, but let me go ahead and run through this quickly so you guys can see how fast this actually goes. So basically just run. See a hit, and just run and forget. Feels kind of like normal. Let's see if we run into any elites in here. This is surprisingly a low density deaths. Probably because I'm recording. But none of this takes very long. Now this is a pretty high density area. Or excuse me, not high density, but a kind of high choke point area. So It doesn't work as well here as it does in more open areas. But it still works, you know, fairly fast. You pop it once and you run over to the next set of targets. There's no elite. Pop it and Sleep Storm and Elite Strike. Nice. I think there's another elite there. Maybe not. Yeah, it's just leftovers. So everything gets one shot on T1. And it's pretty powerful. Later on, you're going to need a lot more toughness if you want to handle, I would say, about T4 onward. Again, you guys can check out the stream that I'll link in the video description. It's about a 3.5-hour stream, but you can see the progression from T1 to T5, and I was able to handle T5 not very efficiently. It was slow, I died a few times, but it's doable, and this build will work on T5 and T6. It's just, it may require some legendary procs or significantly boosted damage and toughness to make it efficient. So let's pop over and do Asmodan real quick. Actually, before we do that, I'll show you guys what it looks like in a more open area. Fields of Misery is a pretty famous one, but unfortunately the density is completely nerfed in 2.0, so it's not really worth doing fields. But in open areas like this is how it works. You just cast and forget it. You just keep running and everything dies. You don't even need to behind you. Just pop the Blizzard and take him out. So, pretty straightforward. Nothing to worry about. And it works extremely well in open areas where you can kite. Keep depths too. It still works pretty well, but it's not going to be as fast. Now, once again, this does work at the higher torments as well. You do need to be a little bit more cautious because the damage output of monsters scales a lot quicker than their hit points. The hit points scale a lot too, and it will take you longer to kill mobs, but the amount of damage you take goes up significantly, so you're probably not going to be able to, like, out the gate without any kind of crafting. It's going to be pretty challenging to handle Torment, I would say Torment 3 upwards, without the proper toughness gear, because of the damage output. But the one thing that, the conclusion that I came to when I was streaming was that, you know, the speed at which you kill monsters in Torment 1 until you get past a certain amount of damage output, this is still the most efficient way to farm pretty much anything, because the XP will increase at higher difficulties, but if it takes you, you know, if you're getting 500% XP boost now, and you're doing a difficulty where you're getting 1500 XP boost, but it takes you 3 times longer to kill something, it's still the same thing. And if you can kill mobs 3 times faster, that means you end up killing more of them. So depending on how scaling goes for a magic find, legendary find, things like that, it may actually be more efficient to just do 2.1 until you're basically overkilling. So yeah, as you can see, Asmodan down pretty fast, nothing to it, don't have to worry about, you know, moving around, kiting, anything like that. At higher difficulties, again, you will have to kite, and at Torment, I'd say late Torment 4, but definitely Torment 5 onward, you'll either need to switch out and go for a more ranged rune for Ray of Frost, unless you have legendaries that are going to make Sleepstorm viable, because you will be kiting a lot more, so you're not going to be able to stand toe-to-toe. I still think it's possible with proper gear. There's some damage reduction gear. Like String of Ears, Eye of Network, both of those have very large damage reduction percentages. So Scotsy goes down pretty quick too. As you can see, my health bar doesn't really do anything. I can just stand here and take these hits. And they're not really. This is just kind of standing here, nothing's really happening. So I'm not using any kind of weird game mechanics or anything like that. It's just the output on Torment 1, once you have about 1 million in toughness, is pretty low. So the bosses go down fairly quickly too. They don't have a lot of hit points. Now I know not everyone has 400k DPS on live right now, and that 400k is based off an Archon build. But you don't really need it. I mean, you can do this just as, I mean, at half speed probably. You might have to do 2 casts. But you can do this at 200k. I mean, 200k is accessible to you. But realistically, it's going to be fairly easy to get. 300k DPS once you craft a few items. If you look at my crafting video on YouTube, I kind of explain what you're going to want to craft, what you're going to want to save over in order to be able to do that.
If only they could see me now.
So let's go ahead and kill Rakanoth, and then I will ID this chest piece. And let's see what we got. But this is a pretty solid cast and forget Torment 1 build. Again, just you don't have to do anything. And I'm sure there's a lot of different ways how you can optimize this build to run faster, especially if you're doing XP runs. Or just farming as many mobs as possible so that you can find those legendaries and progress. But as it is, it's already plenty fast. And it doesn't really require any kind of special gear, let's put it that way. You don't need legendaries or anything like that to make it work. So, alright. So there you go, guys. That was very quick and easy. And as a little bonus, let's see what I found. I don't know what I found. I actually have no idea what I found. But I found something. There we go. The Magi. Alright, well, that's useless. And let's see what the chest armor is. Alright, Heart of Iron. Not very good by any means. Let's see what it looks like. Looks alright though. Probably looks cool in a barb. Anyway, these are just the items that have dropped. So you guys can kind of see what the rare drops look like. They're usually not that great. the crafted items are going to be a lot better. So, alright. Well, that's it. So that's the Torment 1 build. Again, it does just fine in 2 and 3. It starts to slow down a little bit in T4 and T5 and T6. You're going to need to start swapping out skills, and you're going to really need to up your toughness and your sustain in order to be able to do those with any sort of efficiency. But for Torment 1, and then to a little bit slower in 2 and 3, but still very, very quickly farmable, this build works great, and you don't need anything specific to make it happen. So there it is again. Thank you guys for watching. This is Meathead Mikkel from meatheadgaming.com, and I'll see you guys later.